mean, we need to talk about the Browns' preseason depth chart, or really, for that matter, any team's preseason depth chart. You know those things are worthless for the most part, right?
Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Guys, I'm listening to your show, and I'm listening to all the things you guys are saying. For 6 years, I hear the same things. We outgained them in yardage, we lost. We dropped 4 or 5 passes in a game, we lost. We missed kicks, we lost. We can't run the ball, we lost. We can't throw the ball downfield, we lost. We got bad coaching decisions, we lose. When is our coach going to throw the ball and try to score touchdowns rather than sit there on field goals? He doesn't try to blow a team out. He tries to keep it close, run the clock out. And for 6 years, we've been looking at this, guys, and it doesn't work.
The Cleveland Browns just released their unofficial depth chart for their upcoming showdown with the Baltimore Ravens. And the headline? Shedeur Sanders, the most hyped rookie in Cleveland, remains listed as the emergency quarterback. That's right. Not QB2, not even part of the rotation. Emergency only. Meaning Shedeur will not see the field unless both Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel go down.
Your great leader, Shedeur Sanders, and Andre Schmitz, when he missed the field goal, Shedeur hugged him.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you love dramatic football debates, bold takes, and real analysis the mainstream media won't touch, you found your home. Before we dive into today's chaos in Cleveland, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and join the fastest growing football community on YouTube. And hey, let me make this clear right now. If you believe Shedeur Sanders deserves more than the emergency quarterback tag, drop SS 100% in the comments below. Let's flood the algorithm and let Kevin Stefanski know that the fan base won't stay quiet. Fans were hoping to see Sanders move up after a rocky Week 1 loss to the Bengals. They expected some sign that Stfansky had heard their frustration. Instead, Stfansky doubled down, keeping Shedeur tucked away like a secret. And just like that, Browns Nation erupted.
You know, it kind of goes back to the previous discussion. It's such a all-encompassing evaluation, so everything the guys did in the games was important. We also saw a lot of them out here in practice and how they are at their craft, and he's certainly somebody that we think is getting better and better.
Stefanski's conservative gamble. Kevin Stefanski has built a reputation as the cautious coach, the steady hand, the man who avoids chaos at all costs. That might sound good on paper, but right now, it feels like cowardice. Because Cleveland just lost a heartbreaker to Cincinnati. They outgained the Bengals by almost 200 yards, dominated on defense, and still found a way to lose. Why? Because Joe Flacco threw 2 brutal interceptions. And what does Stfansky do after that disaster? He doubles down on Flacco. He keeps Gabriel in the mix, and he leaves Shedeur Sanders in the shadows. That's not just cautious, that's stubborn. That's a coach who's scared to take the risk, even when the reward could change the season. The Ravens rivalry. And here's what makes Stefanski's decision sting even more. This week's opponent, the Baltimore Ravens. This isn't just a game. This is a war. Cleveland hates Baltimore. Baltimore hates Cleveland. This rivalry runs deep, all the way back to the Browns moving to Baltimore in 1996. Every game is personal. Every snap is violent. And who's leading Baltimore? Lamar Jackson. A quarterback who was thrown into the fire as a rookie and became an MVP. A quarterback who represents everything Cleveland has been searching for. Imagine this. Lamar Jackson torching defenses, making magic with his legs and his arm, while Shedeur Sanders, a player with similar potential, sits in street clothes as emergency only. That's not just frustrating, that's humiliating.
Wednesday of Ravens Week. Well, one of the big themes today in the locker room was disrespect. Several players that I talked to feel disrespected by the fact that the odds makers have installed the Baltimore Ravens as 10.5 or 11.5 point favorites for this football game. The Browns are not happy about that. They're coming off of a very close loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, 17-16, and they feel that they actually outplayed the Bengals in that game, if not for a few mistakes. So they feel like heading into Baltimore as such incredible underdogs, it is just not sitting well with them at all. And who can blame them?
Defense can't carry forever. Here's the tragedy of it all. Cleveland has one of the best defenses in football. Myles Garrett is destroying offensive lines. Denzel Ward is locking receivers down. This unit just held Joe Burrow to 141 yards of offense. That's historic. But what's the point of an elite defense if your offense can't keep up? What's the point of smothering opponents if your quarterback keeps giving the ball back? The Browns' defense is championship level. But without a quarterback who can capitalize, all that effort is wasted. And right now, Stfansky is wasting it. The emergency QB insult. Let's break down what emergency QB really means. It means you're not trusted. It means you're not part of the plan. It means you're a last resort. That's not just limiting Shedeur snaps. It's a public insult. It's a message from Stfansky to Sanders and the entire city. We don't believe in him yet. And that's insane. We're not talking about an undrafted rookie with no resume. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders, one of the most talked about young quarterbacks in America. A player with pedigree, poise, and production. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, the one quarterback who might actually change the dynamic, is standing on the sideline in street clothes. The Browns lose again. By the time Stfansky finally turns to Sanders, Cleveland could be staring at a 1-3 start. And at that point, the damage is done. Now let's paint the opposite. Shedeur gets his shot. He makes mistakes, sure, but he also makes plays. He brings energy. He sparks the offense. He gives the defense hope. The Browns might still lose, but at least they're building something. At least they're playing for the future. At least they're fighting. Which scenario sounds better? Which one gives Cleveland a chance? The answer is obvious. The locker room factor. This isn't just about fans. This is about the locker room. Players aren't blind. They know Flacco is limited. They know Gabriel is unproven. They know Sanders has talent. How long before frustration creeps in? How long before defensive leaders like Myles Garrett start wondering why their effort is being wasted? How long before veterans lose faith in Stfansky's vision? A divided locker room kills seasons. And right now, Stfansky is walking that line. Stfansky's legacy on the line. This isn't just about one game. This is about Kevin Stefanski's legacy in Cleveland. He's been praised as steady, as smart, as reliable. But fans don't want reliable anymore. They want bold. They want fearless. They want a coach who believes in the future, not one who clings to the past. If Stfansky continues to bury Sanders, he risks being remembered as the coach who wasted one of the most talented defenses Cleveland has ever had. He risks losing the fan base. He risks losing the locker room. And once that happens, it's over.